Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and family. Welcome once again to the Abundant Way Ministries Tuesday Evening Empowerment Series. My name is Robert Davis. I don't know who this is sitting next to me.
Hello.
But yeah, so this is how my wife decided to come on to the show today, blindfolded. And it's for a reason.
Yes, it is for a reason. Welcome to April.
She beat me on this one, y'all. You know, I used to come on with my different hats.
Yeah.
So explain to me why you are blindfolded.
Well, our April empowerment session, we're talking about obedience over understanding, right? So last month we were in the month of March. We were in March Madness. We talked about vision and clarity, and finishing strong, right? And so now, how do we finish strong? What do we do? How do we do that? And this is going to take, so in the month of April, obedience is what it's going to take to finish. But a lot of times we have to know or see what we're doing, where we're going.
Right.
And God says, I just want your yes. Without you seeing, without you knowing. So what he's saying is that I want your yes, and I'm going to send you out. So your yes to God, obedience is like being blindfolded. You can't see where you're going.
Okay.
You can't see the plan. You can't see the writing. You can't see anything. And God is saying, don't take the blindfold off. If you put your trust in me and just do as I say, go as I say, however he has you set up to go, then that's what he wants. He wants your yes before the why.
He wants your yes before you understand the why.
Before you understand the why.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing this month. We're going to be obedient. To complete, to keep going, to finish strong in this year.
Okay. I got you. I think I got you.
You got me?
Yeah. Okay. Now you can take the run.
Because I can't say hello.
All right. So we're talking about obedience over understanding. So, like you said, last month, during March Madness, the thing was about write the vision. And God gave us a vision. Make it plain upon tables or tablets or iPad. So he may run who reads it, right?
Right.
So that's one part of our relationship with God, is receiving the vision. Now, this part that we're stepping into is now obeying God's instructions. Okay, so vision is one thing. Now, when you came on, you were blindfolded, and that's without your natural sight. Now, the vision that God gives you, he can give to a blind person. So when we talk about vision, we're not talking about your 2020 vision,
right,
or your farsightedness or your nearsightedness, not that vision. Because when God gives you a vision, even a person who's blind can receive that vision. But it's another thing to be able to follow the instructions of God
Mm-hmm.
when you don't fully understand what he's telling you to do or why he's telling you to do something.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. Is it the whole month of April or just this week?
No, the whole month.
The whole month of
Mhm.
April.
Our
we're talking
empowerment
about.
theme for the month of April is obedience over understanding.
Okay, obedience over understanding.
Yep.
And friends, that's not easy,
That's not easy.
especially for those of us who are, hey, Robin,
Hey,
Robin Davis out there.
Mhm.
Hey, and that's not easy, especially for those of us who are quote unquote control freaks, right?
Mhm.
It's hard
Mhm.
to obey people that you can see and talk to and touch and relate to.
Yep.
It's even harder to obey a God who you cannot see,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So that requires trust.
Yes.
My God,
Yes.
that requires trust.
And that is our biblical example of that is Abraham.
Mm,
When God told Abraham to go, leave
yep,
where he was,
yep.
comfortably living,
Mhm.
knew everybody there, and go to a foreign place,
Right.
go to a foreign land, and pretty much and start over,
Uh-huh.
and not knowing exactly where to go.
Right.
You
I
just want to
I
move.
love that scripture. He said, "Get thee out of thy country
Mhm.
and away from thy kindred and away from thy father's house and go unto a land that I will show you."
Mhm.
Meaning that I'm telling you to move and I haven't even shown you yet.
Mhm.
I will show you, but I need for you to start making your move right now.
Right now.
That's part of why Abraham was named the father of faith,
Mhm.
because he showed exemplary faith by picking up his whole household and leaving what he was familiar with and what he was comfortable with,
Mhm.
and going to a place where going to where God told him but had not shown him.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Then go to a place that I will show you.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And so that leads into our first point where it says obedience begins where understanding ends.
Uh-huh.
Faith starts where explanation stops.
Right. So how many of us, yeah, how many of us have to have a 5-minute conversation after someone told you to do something?
All of us.
Right. By the time you finish getting all these answers, all these questions answered, the moment may have passed.
Mm-hmm.
It may be something that you actually need to do immediately, but because you lack the trust,
Mm-hmm.
You could miss your window.
Yep.
Because you didn't move fast enough. You didn't move at the time of opportunity.
Yep. So it says obedience. We often delay obedience because we want more detail.
We want more detail.
We want more confirmation.
Uh-huh.
We want more clarity.
Uh-huh.
But God gives instruction, not explanation.
Uh-huh. And I get it. It's not easy because we don't want to do the wrong thing.
Right.
We don't want to make the wrong move. We want to somehow have some type of assurance that where we're going and the moves that we're making is going to be fruitful and beneficial. And we feel like the more information we have, the better we're able to secure that that position.
Yeah. It's just like I know people that have really uprooted themselves from where they were and moved to Georgia, not knowing anybody, not knowing. Some people came here and didn't have jobs, didn't have a place to stay, any of that. It was a faith move,
right.
And because God told them to do it, right? I look at Pastor Thomas and Lady Crystal. So everything that they have moved from North Carolina. Yeah, I think it's moved from North Carolina, came here.
Uh-huh.
Pastor Thomas didn't come here with a job.
Uh-huh.
He had to find a job,
Mm-hmm.
and actually was getting paid less
Uh-huh.
than what he was before.
Right.
Before he came here. So everything they did was a faith move.
Right.
And now look where they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God just said, if you do it, I got you. Right. And they did it.
I did the same thing. I came, to go to seminary, to go to theology school. Mm-hmm. Did not have a job. Mm-hmm. Came down here and then got a place to stay with a family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about loading up trucks, packing up houses, and all that, getting on the road. It's a crazy thing. Mm-hmm. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
But somehow that's where God is leading you. Mm-hmm. You don't know a lot of people there, but you just got a feeling that God is going to take care of you along the way.
Yeah.
And you got to trust it.
Yeah.
And you got to be obedient and continue to walk in it. And I'm so glad I was obedient, because you hear me say this all the time. You couldn't pay me to go back to Cleveland. Not to Cleveland.
No. Same way with me moving from Chicago.
Uh-huh.
But mine's a little different, because I told God I wanted to relocate here, but I wasn't relocating here without a job. Without a job. But it just so happened that the company I was working for had an office here. And I told my VP, if we ever get an opening in Atlanta, I want to go. Uh-huh. And sure enough, we got the opening. But the crazy part is I had 3 weeks to move here. Uh-huh. And it just went so smooth.
Right.
And I didn't have a place before I came here, but I had to come here and find a place. So I didn't, I wasn't coming here empty-handed.
Uh-huh. Hey, Mahogany. Right.
Yeah. So it's all about your faith and your trust in where God is trying to take you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. We didn't know where we were going to live. We didn't know about jobs. We didn't know, we didn't have family here. So it was just our move, and it was just us and God. Mm-hmm. And we just said, okay, this is what you want me to do.
I made another move like that when I moved from Michigan back to Ohio. Mm-hmm. I took a $20,000 pay cut. Mm. And because for some reason, I was actually looking to make a career move. Mm-hmm. At the time, I wanted to go to North Carolina, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, where there's in my field, IT, they had the Research Triangle Park. That's where all the IT stuff was. Mm-hmm. On the East Coast. And nothing would come up. But I got this call from Roadway, and they offered me a position, but it was $20,000 less than what I was making. Mm-hmm. And something told me to take that job, even though it was $20,000 less. And again, I was obedient, and I packed up, moved, and God just made everything so easy with that move. Mm-hmm. And every time he would do that, I would realize that, you know what? He's in the mix. I'm not doing this by myself. Mm-hmm. When I look back in retrospect, in hindsight, I realized why God sent me back to Ohio. Mm-hmm. Because it was 3 years later that my mother passed. Mm-hmm. And do you know that I was right there when she passed away, like literally in the hospital? She took her last breath almost in my arms. Mm-hmm. And had I not been in Ohio, I would have missed that moment.
Yeah.
I would have missed spending those last 3 years with her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And and during those 3 years, she launched my karaoke career.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah. So you being obedient, you may think, well, shoot, this can't be God with a $20,000 pay cut. God don't work like that, right? But there was a bigger purpose behind it that I couldn't see.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until after that that I was released to move again. You feel what I'm saying? So
assignment.
It's assignment. Yeah. And he's gonna position you for where he knows you need to be, where he knows you need to be.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? It may not have been an assignment for me, like to be in Cleveland, but it was something that he saw. I need you to not miss these 3 years.
Yep. Again, it's the blindfold, right? It's we don't know what's ahead. We don't know why.
Right.
we don't understand it, right? But you just know I gotta go. I have to do this because God's telling me to do this, or I'm being led to do this.
Right. Yeah.
And it's the faith move.
It's a faith move.
It really is the faith move. That's really all it is. Karaoke. And to get it to before we go into the second point, which leads into that, but the teaching moment of what we're talking about right now is that if we wait until we understand everything, we're not going to move.
Oh yeah.
So just think if you had waited, like, this not making sense. Oh man, I'm gonna take $20,000 pay cut. I can't live like that.
Right.
And you missed those 3 years.
Right.
Or it got shortened and you only had a year.
Right.
It's
what would happen is, again, you would miss the whole opportunity. It's like with God, things happen in windows. Like you might miss that window of opportunity. Once it's passed, you don't know whether that window's coming around again or not. Right? Somebody else could have gotten that job.
Yep.
And so it would have had something else would have had to take me back there, or else I would have missed the whole thing altogether.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a weird thing because again, you're dealing with an invisible entity, God, right? God, who you can't see, you can't touch. You see what I'm saying? But you're developing a relationship with this God through your trust, through your obedience, right?
Right. Yep. And so, some questions to ponder or ask yourself: where is God asking you to move without full clarity?
Right. So somebody out there right now who's watching online, God is nudging you to make a move.
Yeah.
And so the question is, what is God nudging you towards right now that you're a little resistant to because you don't have full clarity?
Right.
Because you don't have all the answers. Because you can't see the full picture.
Yep.
Right? And I get it. If you're still developing that relationship with God, one of your questions may be, God, is it you? Is this you talking to me? Or I used to have that all the time.
Yeah.
Is it me talking to me in my head?
Yep.
Or what is this? Because I'm not about to just make this kind of move. Some of us, you ever heard the statement, the writing on the wall?
Yep.
Some of us need for God to just start writing on the whiteboard. All you see is stuff.
And then you're going to go crazy and lose your mind because somebody writing on the whiteboard that you can't see. Yeah.
And some of us would still resist. Now write that again.
Is that who doing that? Is it you? Yeah. But the other part of obedience, it's really demonstrated through our love for God. It said our love for God is demonstrated through obedience. Obedience is not obligation; it's evidence of relationship. So that's when you really are connected, and you really have full faith in whatever God instructs you to do. Right? That's all relationship. And you have to get, if you don't have that, you have to get to that point where in the relationship between you and God, God can tell you, I need you to go around the corner and do whatever. It's like, I don't want to go around. What's around the corner?
What's around?
Who around the corner? Right. But your true relationship with God, you trust him so much. Okay, I'll go around the corner. You might look crazy because you get around there like, no, you're just standing around there. You know, it's that thing. But just like he said in John 14:15, he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Right.
I think we have a problem with the word obedience or the word obey.
Yeah, of course we do.
Because the word itself puts us in a mindset of submissiveness, submission. And that translates to many people as powerlessness. But what we're talking about, obedience to God, it's not powerlessness, right? There is submission. You're submitting yourself, you're submitting your will to the will of God, but it's not without power.
That's when we get the power.
So you're not powerless when you're obeying a command of God, right? So we try to line that up with obeying a human being.
Right.
You know how the Bible says, wives, submit yourselves to your husband. Oh man. I know he ain't talking about black women. They
definitely talking about black
women. They start smacking their lips while you reading the scripture.
Yeah.
But because they hear this word submit or obey, and they think it's now you have all the power and all the control over me, and I'm not about to let that happen.
You know, I think that's a result to when you think back in our history, slavery time. You know, our people had no choice, no right, so they had to obey, or they would be lynched or whipped or whatever, because they didn't. And so they had to submit to this master, this owner. Right. So I think that may have somewhat to do with it.
Absolutely. It's PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to look at it again in a different mindset, because when you have a true relationship with God, that word obedience and submission, it changed, the meaning changes. It becomes a different way of doing things, a way of accepting the charge, so to speak. And it can become not question. We don't question it, right? Because we know who it's coming from, and we trust who it's coming from. So it makes it a little easier for us to adapt to that word, so to speak. Because obedience, it says obedience reveals trust in God's character, confidence in his plan, and willingness to follow his lead. Again, that's all relational. All relational. Right? We don't obey because we understand everything. We obey because we trust the one who does.
Who does what? Understand everything.
Exactly. Understand everything, knows everything, sees all things, knows all things.
So we trust his understanding.
That's good, because we want our own understanding, And that's why we don't move, because we don't have our own understanding. We don't know fully, or we don't have the clear instructions on what to do, how to do, where to go.
Right.
But if you have the understanding of God, who knows everything, if you trust his understanding, then it'll be easier for us to make the move.
Right. That's why the Bible says, trust God, lean in all thy ways, lean not into that own understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and lean not into that own understanding.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that is the scripture for what we're talking about, really. You know, when your steps are ordered by God, right? You have to walk by faith and not by sight.
Not by sight.
So for those of y'all who joined late, you missed Malibu. She came on blindfolded, right? So you had to come on the broadcast blindfolded, and you're used to doing this.
Yeah. I'm used to setting up Facebook and typing in our welcome message and all that, and I couldn't do it.
Right.
Because I couldn't see.
And you had to trust that the show was going to go on. Yep.
Yeah.
It was right.
Make sure we were on live. We could hear. I had to trust that. And so it's like, okay, I'm not going to do it like I normally do. I'm just going to sit here with this blindfold on. I couldn't see you. That was the weirdest thing. And we sitting right here together, but that was the weirdest thing. I couldn't see, but I could hear. And I knew, because this is familiar territory for me. So I kind of figured, I kind of knew already how the flow was, because I can picture in my mind what it looked like.
Right. Did it still feel weird?
It still felt weird because I had no control.
Right.
I couldn't do nothing or do what I normally do. Oh, I couldn't do what I normally do. So I had to let that go, surrender that, and okay, let me just.
So let's talk. Let's talk right there. So when you are walking in obedience to God, then it will take you out of your comfort zone. Number one, it will take you out of your place of familiarity. I finally got that word.
Got it out
first time.
Okay.
Right. So it will take you out of your comfort zone. It will take you out of that place that you're familiar with. Right. And so now you know you are walking in obedience when you keep walking when you're uncomfortable. Okay. So being obedient to God doesn't mean that you're going to always be comfortable.
Right.
Right. Or that, how should I say this? You may not always be comfortable, but you will find confidence. So when I was making those faith moves, I was going to places that I did not know.
Yep.
Get thee out of that country, away from that kindred, and away from that father's house, and go to a place that you don't know, but that I will show you. Right. So I was going to places that I did not know. It was out of my comfort zone. Right. But I was still confident. I was still able to move in confidence. I felt protected. Right.
Yep.
So that's where my trust was.
Yeah.
Like, no matter where I am. And I love the fact that we travel, because even when we go to different places, different islands and countries and stuff like that, I'm confident. Right. I'm in unfamiliar surroundings, but I'm not nervous.
Right.
I'm not scared.
Right.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when we were in Barcelona, and they said, be aware of pickpockets and be aware of this. And even where we stayed, it wasn't the most beautiful place area that we stayed in. When we pulled up to our Airbnb, I was like, oh my God, what is this? What, So I was a little taken back, like, oh my goodness. But we weren't, I wasn't worried. No. I wasn't scared. I wasn't fearful. And we actually got out and walked around
Uh-huh.
the little block or area where we stayed, and it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. So it's sometimes we see things, and what we see makes us feel.
Mm-hmm.
What we see stops us and like, no, I'm not going there.
And maybe that's a good reason for the blindfold.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
sometimes God will ask you to do stuff or instruct you to do something, and He intentionally will not show you
Mm-hmm.
the whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes, if God showed you everything up front, you probably wouldn't make that move.
You would not.
Right?
Yeah.
So if He showed you that there was, I'll use an extreme example, that there was a bear around the corner. He told you to go around the corner. Yeah, you wouldn't go around the corner.
You wouldn't, right.
Mm-hmm.
But get this, and this is, I love how this flows into our third point. It says your yes unlocks what you can't yet see.
Uh-huh.
The minute you say yes,
Uh-huh.
then He's going to show you.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the testing part is, will you say yes?
Right.
With the unknown.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The unfamiliar.
Yeah.
The not knowing, not understanding.
Yeah. So here's the beauty of it. I like that. So your yes is the key that unlocks the door
Mm-hmm.
to whatever it is that God has in store for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so this is what makes it exciting. Right. Robin said, I can't see the next scene right now.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
Because, oftentimes if you could see the whole scene, you'd probably be scared to make the move.
Mm-hmm.
And He needs for you to make the move before you see that scene, because if you see the whole scene, you might get paralyzed,
mm-hmm.
right? Because of the unfamiliarity. But what I was getting ready to say was, what was I saying? Robin came with it. The yes is the key that unlocks the door.
Right.
So imagine, I think about The Price is Right. Remember The Price is Right?
Yes.
And so you got these 3 doors that you can pick from.
Mm-hmm.
Your yes is the key that unlocks one of those doors.
Mm-hmm.
If you never say yes, you will never know what's behind door number 2.
Yep.
Right? And the crazy thing is, when you finally see what was behind door number 2 and it's so exciting and so good, wouldn't you be upset if you never said yes?
Mm-hmm.
You never made the choice. You never picked a door. You're so scared that they said you got 3 doors to choose from, and you just leave the thing and run out to the audience because you're scared to make the choice. Right?
Right.
So you do have to choose yes.
Yep.
Right? God is not going to force you into anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to force obedience on you. In fact, that's been clarified from the very beginning. He wants you to choose Him.
Yep.
Or else He would have made us all robots.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why there is the choice between good and evil. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes choosing evil is easier than choosing good.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But your choice is the key. Your yes, He wants your yes. Your yes is the key that unlocks the door to every good thing that God has in store for you.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Jesus said, "No, I'm not going down there.
Going down where to the cross?
I'm not going to earth. I'm not dealing with these people.
Uh-huh.
I'm not becoming the sacrifice. I'm not doing that."
Uh-huh.
What if? Can you imagine?
Right.
Where we will be?
Right.
Right now, if He not said yes.
Right.
If He had not obeyed His Father. Right. If He didn't surrender at all.
Right. And again, it's not easy. It wasn't easy for him.
No. No, no, no.
Right? Remember the scene in the Garden of Gethsemane.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was praying so hard that he was sweating blood and tears.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And he asked God, if there's any possible way, let this cup pass from me, because I really don't want to do this.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now, if Jesus can be obedient after experiencing all of that, right? Then surely we can be obedient, because we don't have to go the same path that he went.
Yeah.
He went through that path so that we wouldn't have to, right? And now all God is asking us is to be obedient the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's it. It said, like we said, obedience opens doors that understanding cannot. Because we can understand it all day, every day.
Try understanding what God was asking Jesus to do, instructing him to do.
Yeah,
he's saying, this is what, I came out here to go to seminary.
Yeah,
theology school.
And what?
They give you these big words.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Hold on, y'all.
Eschatology. Eschatological.
I would think esthetician. That's what I heard.
Oh, no,
that's what I heard. What?
So it was eschatology that was I would say, the underlying explanation of what God had instructed Jesus to do. Wait a minute, Mahogany.
and Jamal Bryant and who else? Bishop J.
Yeah, TD Jakes.
All
about that too. You're right. So that's funny.
That's funny.
So what that means is like all of the, how do I explain this? So you know how it's all of like the terrestrial things. He's saying, if you do this, your sacrifice is going to save the world. How do you explain that to a normal human being? How do you explain that by this one person submitting himself to a crime that he did not commit, submitting himself to being arrested for a crime that he did not commit, being convicted of this crime, being hung on the cross, crucified. They use the word crucified, but what it really was a flat out execution. It was a public execution.
Right.
And in one of the worst ways possible. They were making an example of him so that nobody else would follow his footsteps. Right. And God is saying, I want you to submit yourself to that. Yeah. Right. You're going to be hung on the cross. They're going to drive nails in your hands, your wrists, your ankles. They're going to stick a spear in your side. They're going to press a crown of thorns on your head. You're going to have to carry a 200-pound cross up a hill. And that cross that you're carrying up, they're going to hang you on the same cross that you carry. And you're going to be there for a while. Yeah. Right? I need you to do that. Why? Because there's something happening in the heavenly realms that you can't see. That's eschatology. It's the heavenly things that you can't see. And the what is it? The cause and effect, right? That's happening in heaven that you can't see with your naked eye. You can't see how this is actually fulfilling the plan of salvation, so that anyone who believes in you after this has access to me, because now you are that lamb. Right. You are the blood that was sacrificed, right? So Now you try to tell a human being
Mhm.
to do something that's going to benefit heaven and earth.
Yeah,
That's hard.
that's huge.
Yeah,
That's huge.
That's
That's a
huge.
huge ask.
right. So now he was obedient to that. And just like it's hard for me to even explain the word eschatology,
Mhm.
try explaining what God just asked you to do.
Mhm. Mhm. Right, right. It could be something so crazy, and you like, you know what? You go to your girlfriend or whoever, like, God told me to do so and so and so and so, and they like, are you crazy?
Uh-huh.
Are you nuts?
Right.
That don't make sense. That's why sometimes when God instructs us to do something, you just gotta move inside.
Uh-huh.
You can't tell everybody because
Once you start saying it,
you
you sound
start,
crazy to yourself.
Mm-hmm,
You mean to tell me what I'm about to do is about to move heaven and earth?
yeah.
How is that?
How am I going to do that?
Uh-huh.
Right. You start questioning yourself
Uh-huh.
when you know the instruction came straight from him.
Right.
Because somebody else said it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or somebody's like, no, that don't sound right. That God didn't tell you to do that.
Uh-huh.
Yes, he did.
You mean to tell me what I'm getting ready to do is about to save people for that I would never meet thousands of years later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, we've been saying Jesus died 2,000 years ago for 2,000 years.
I think we done surpassed 2,000.
Yeah.
Right.
But to this day, if that happened over 2,000 years ago, look at the result, because people are still speaking the name, calling on the name, believing in that name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For over 2,000 years.
Yep.
Because of his obedience.
Yep. Because of his obedience. So just imagine whatever God has shown you or instructed you to do, the legacy that it could leave long after we're off of this earth, gone. But because you said yes,
right,
you've got a legacy that's surpassing. I mean, it goes from generation to generation.
Right.
People are still talking about it.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, that's one of the tenets of the Abundant Way Ministry, is that we want to create, build, and leave generational wealth. That's legacy, right? So it's not enough for us to just exist on this earth and live and exist, right? We've got to make sure that we leave this earth better than we found it. That's legacy, right? And so God may be asking you, me, to do some things that don't make sense to us right now, but it's going to make sense when our children's children and their children's children, hundreds of years later, read about the sacrifice or the move that we made, the faith move that we made, that set them up for whatever they're going to be doing.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, it's about leaving legacy. Now, if what Jesus did, if that legacy lasted for that's the dog, over 2,000 years, and you see what I'm saying? Then we're following in those footsteps. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we want to be able to, and I'm encouraging everybody out there, listen for the voice of God. Yeah. Be obedient to it, because you could be setting your family up for generational success by whatever seed God is having you plant today. You may not live long enough to see it. And that's why you got to be obedient to it anyway. Even after Jesus died on the cross, was buried in the grave, I'm preaching now, And in 3 days, he got up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, this is Baptist preacher right now. With all power in his hand, right? With power over death, hell, and the grave, right? He walked the earth another 40 or 50,
I think it's
40 days, seen by over 500 people, right? He was resurrected for real.
Yeah.
But then after that, he did ascend into heaven to sit on the right hand of God, right? Never to be seen again on earth, right? So even though you and I can't see him, his legacy still remains. Watch. And the eschatological power is that we evoke his name. What do? We say our prayer in the name of Jesus. Boom. Yep. We put that seal on it, that stamp on it, which means that all the power that he walked in, I'm putting that power on this prayer because of something that he did by obedience over 2,000 years ago. Now, what if you can do the same for your family? Come on now. Yeah. You know, woke me up.
You asleep? Oh my goodness. We're going to wake up. We got 15 minutes for this. Yeah. I like that because your yes, you know, God, I think God purposely withholds information, doesn't give us the full understanding, the full clarity of what it is he wants to do. Because again, he wants to develop that relationship. He wants to develop the trust, right? Yeah. And he developed the trust. He's strengthening the faith, but he also is preparing you for the next.
For the next thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So if he showed you everything up front and you know what's coming next and you're not ready, or you're not ready to step into, you're not ready to handle that part of the next, it can mess up the whole lineage. It can mess up the whole legacy. It can mess up for generations to come after. And so that's why sometimes it's like, I'm only going to share so much with you because this is all I want you to focus on right now. While I'm in behind the scenes getting ready for the next scene. Robin.
The next thing.
The next thing.
Now I have a different interpretation of that next. Okay. Right? I like yours, but listen to this. He's preparing you for the next level of obedience, right? What I mean by that. So he may start you off with something small, a small obedience exercise, right? And once you go through that and it comes out okay, it strengthens your faith. So now you have more confidence in being even more obedient the next time. Watch this. That's building, like you said, that relationship with him because he's taking you from level to level to level. Watch this. And so ultimately, you're going to be able to walk in so much obedience. That's when you actually start prophesying and speaking in tongues and laying hands on the sick and watching the sick be healed because you're walking by faith. You're being obedient. Watch this. How many times have God told you to speak a word to somebody, and because of your fear, you didn't say a word? And you realize that if you had told that person what God had placed on your heart, things would have worked out differently for that person. They may have worked out differently for you. How many times have God told you to lay hands on somebody who was sick, this in spite of what the doctor said to them, and you didn't do it because you said, well, who am I? Right. After the doctor then told him all of this and all of that, who am I to override the doctor with my little hand? And he didn't ask for the power in your hand. He just asked for the power of your obedience. My goodness, my God. Now, I can tell you a story where that actually happened to me. I was assigned to preach a revival, which was on a Saturday. And this was my pastor at the time, Dr. J. Sherman Pelt. He was training me. And so he had me do this small revival on a Saturday. And I'm thinking, okay, this is cool because not many people gonna show up on a Saturday,
right.
a one-day revival, or whatever this was. And so I'm wrestling with my relationship with God and my discerning, am I hearing God, or is this me going crazy talking to myself in my head? And God told me, okay, when you hear that voice or when you feel this feeling, just be obedient. Don't question it, just do it. And so I'm preaching about Paul and Silas, mm-hmm. and them in prison after they cast the demon out of the girl who was prophesying, mm-hmm. right? Preaching that sermon, and then God, I'm gonna stop saying something told me. The Holy Spirit told me to come out of the pulpit and go down to the floor and do an altar call. And I did this altar call, and they formed a semicircle around the altar, and I'm in the semicircle, and God told me to start calling out demons by name, by assignment. And I started calling out demon of whatever it was. This is almost 20 years ago. Come out. And all of a sudden, a lady on the other side of the room just fell out, hit the floor. I hadn't touched her. And it's like behind me. I said, demon of something else, come out. Somebody else fell out on the floor, hit the floor. Boom. Demon of such, come out. Somebody screamed. I'm telling you, all of this stuff happened. I got witnesses. Gordon Burkett and his girlfriend at the time was there. It took him and David King, who watches us sometime, to tell me exactly what they saw. Because now I'm in a whole nother
You're in a whole
nother realm. I hadn't even touched anybody yet. In fact, Gordon told me I called something out, and a grown man, big man, boom, hit the floor so hard it shook on his side of the room, right? And so then I'm starting to go around and lay hands on people. And people, I thought this was fake. I thought it was on TV until I lay hands and the people were falling out. Boom, falling into the benches. Boom. And it was at that point that I really started to trust the power of God. It wasn't me. All he asked me to do was be obedient so that he could use me in that moment. There was a woman there. And there was a woman there who apparently I laid hands on her stomach. I don't remember doing it, but it was a year later. I was speaking to one of the evangelists, Evangelist McCoy. And she told me, she said, remember you did that revival a year ago? There was a woman you laid hands on. She had stomach cancer. She said, I saw that woman a whole year later. Now, this is 2 years later. She said, I saw the woman a whole year later, and I asked her how she was doing with that stomach cancer. She said, I no longer have stomach cancer. She said, you laid hands on her that day. And I said, well, who was the lady? She said, I don't know. She said, that lady, I thought she was a member of the church. She said, that lady actually came in off of the street. She saw the revival going on. She came in off of the street. And she said, it was a whole year later after I saw her again, because Evangelist McCoy had a restaurant down there.
Okay.
And that's when I remembered, and I asked her, and I said, dang. So even to this day, I don't know who that lady was. So I can't claim the credit or nothing like that. But it was told to me that that's what happened, right? I couldn't even tell if the lady was standing right in front of me, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. But they told me I laid hands on that woman, her stomach, and she said she had stomach cancer, and 2 years later she didn't have no stomach cancer.
So just imagine if you had not said yes to even doing the revival, not just the part of hearing God and coming out.
Dog is doing.
But if you had told God, no, I don't think I'm ready to do that.
Right. Yeah. Right. I'm in training still. I can't do no revival.
Yeah. And so going back to the yes, when you said the yes, it's not, when you say yes, it's not small. You may think what God is asking you to do is small, but the yes is huge.
Right.
Because that yes is going to evolve, and it's going to evolve. And that first yes is the key. Once that key opens up, it's on from there.
Right.
It's you're gonna keep elevating, like you said. It's different levels of obedience, and it's just gonna keep elevating you to the next.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So don't think that yes is small.
Yeah.
That's really the key point.
That's so good because I thought, well, it's going to be a small, it was a small revival. Mm-hmm. It was, I would say maybe about 40 people, maybe 40 people in the room that day.
That's small to you.
And in the church that fit 300.
But that's small to you.
Right. The 200 or 300 seater, it was about 30, 40 people in the room, right, that day. And so I feel confident and comfortable saying this on social media live because there was 30 or 40 people there who saw it. Mm-hmm. If I was lying, I wouldn't be saying it.
Right.
Because nobody saw it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Nobody can back it up.
Right. Yeah. There's about 30 or 40 people who can say I was there if they still alive. Some of them, I know for a fact some of them ain't alive.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that I see some people who were there and they're no longer with us today, which leaves us still with a good 25 people who was there that day.
Yeah.
And what does that do? Like you said, it's not small because it gave me the confidence to be even more obedient. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now, and sometimes I still struggle, but now it's easier for me to overcome the reservations.
Right.
Because I've seen him work.
Yep. You've been through it.
Yeah.
You've seen what your yes produced.
Right.
What manifested out of that yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. One thing that yes did do for me is it forever answered the question, is this stuff real? Because we see it on TV.
I was a huge skeptic. I didn't believe none of that stuff. Who was that used to come on TV? Benny Hinn.
Yeah.
Man, I turn it on and I look at it as a joke. I was like, let me see how
Peter Papa.
How you just and thousands of people just you ain't what. You couldn't tell me that wasn't real. You couldn't tell me until I experienced it for myself. And that's what it takes.
That's what it takes. Yeah. Oh, it's a funny thing.
It is. It's hilarious.
When it happens to you.
Yeah. You're like, no, I ain't doing that. No. So
healing is real. Hey, that's my frat boy.
Hey.
What's up, Larry? That was my dean right there.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that.
Healing is real.
Healing, yes, it is real. So to sum up, because we get ready to end, to sum up our first week, this is not our first week, but it's our first week. Y'all follow me? Because last week we was getting ready to come on, and then I realized I hadn't scheduled it.
It's our first episode. It's our first episode for April.
So our first episode of the April series is happening today. But to sum it all up, as we're saying, our theme for this month, obedience over understanding. The yes before the why. And to sum everything we just talked about today. I may not understand it, but I will obey. I may not see it, but I will trust. My yes to God will unlock what I cannot yet see.
All right.
Say yes.
Say yes. Say yes. Say yes.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
That is it.
That's all.
That's all.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening. And we hope to see you guys back next Tuesday, same time, same station.
Yep.
Tell a friend, tell a family member.
Share, like, and share.
Yep.
Yes.
Spread the word.
Spread the word.
Until we meet again, we love you.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.